Now, following the economic challenges that resulted from the COVID-19 pandemic, the federal government had opted for full deregulation of the downstream, removing subsidy from petrol, a development which has increased the price, forcing citizens to accept international market forces, especially crude oil prices and exchange rates. Since the deregulation of the downstream sector of the petroleum industry in 2020, which led to the removal of fuel subsidy, there has been a push by the Nigerian Labour Congress and other stakeholders for the reintroduction of fuel subsidy. With the deregulation of the downstream sector in 2020, the price of PMS had risen from 121 naira 50 kobo to 123 naira 50 kobo per litre in June, later to 140 naira 80 kobo and 143 naira 80 kobo in July, 148 naira to 150 naira in August, and 158 naira to 162 naira in September, and 163 naira in November. Since then, the price of petrol had remained unchanged despite the increase in the prices of crude oil in the international market. While marketers have continued to stress the need to allow market forces determine the pump price of fuel and do away with subsidy, it remains uncertain whether the discussions between the federal government and the labor unions will lead to the deregulation of petrol price. Well, to give more insight into this topic, of course, a marketer's angle and, of course, a general overview, I have in the Lagos studio is the zonal chairman of Southwest of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Dele Lamidi Tajudeen. Good afternoon, Mr. Tajudeen. It's good to see you in the studio.
Good afternoon, Tolu. Good to see you again.
Yes, sir. Yes. Every time I see price of crude oil rising and issues of deregulation and pump price come up, I always remember you because I know you're a player in this sector. Now, how does this come to you? The last time NNPC says landing cost is now about 240 something naira, and they have to subsidize this and that, and we are still neither here nor there with the issue of deregulation. As a player in the market, tell us what's been happening. Give us an overview, real-time information of what's happening in the market.
Thank you very much, Tolu, and good afternoon, viewers. Well, the issue of price, deregulation, and all sorts has been a recurring issues that we have discussed in this house, and there's some other avenue where we have to speak about the prices of petroleum products. It has been a recurring issue. But, well, since the government announced the regulation of petroleum products, especially, although you agree with me that diesel and kerosene has been deregulated.
Yes, yes.
And I must tell you that masses have suffered a lot on the price of diesel and kerosene, even though government is pushing the effect of petrol, because despite the hike in the prices or dollars and so on and so forth, government has not increased it from. And one good thing is that they have made it available, because availability is very key. If it is not available, definitely issue of black marketing and the rest will set on. So I want to commend the government for doing that, for making it available. Even if they have not increased it and they refuse to make the product available, we have been in crisis now. Seriously. But you can imagine today, kerosene, which is supposed to be for common man, is being sold at about 320 naira per litre at the pump price. That is too outrageous. So we will now see that we are not still there. So even the diesel is selling for about 290 naira per litre at the pump price now. So one thing we have said several times is that this deregulation is inevitable. Let them do it once and for all, and let it be total. Let there be sincerity of purpose there. But one thing that I will continue to plead with government, although there are things in the pipeline about refineries, because if we continue to import, it's a simple economic indices that when your balance of trade is in negative, there's no how that economy will survive. So if we continue to import, then we'll be relying on dollar rate. But if we can have the refinery here, product refined there, even if the refineries are going to sell to us in a dollar rate, but the issue of transportation, the insurance and all that will be out of it. Because the template for arriving at the price of petroleum product, we are missing, because there are a lot of things that have been loaded into that template. All agencies and so on and so forth. So one key thing is that let people invest in refineries.
Okay.
Like Dangote refinery, if it comes up today, I think we will have enough to consume, and we won't have issue of we are bringing in product from another country. So thereby, it will strengthen our naira, because you can imagine if petrol is being refined in this country, you can imagine how many dollars we will save. So I think for me, that issue of refinery is very key. Government should encourage people to have more modular refinery, the big one, and so on and so forth. That will permanently solve the problem.
Let me move my next question to issue of the same issue around subsidy, and some saying that it gives avenue for smuggling, in quotes. That since the business is lucrative, you can sell even at Benin Republic for almost $1 for a liter. What do you think government can do to check all of these excesses of some maybe marketers that move products outside the country? It's not limited to independent or major. It could even be private or just private people. But what do you think can be done to discourage the minds of people from moving products out of the country? Government pays a lot of subsidy on all of these liters.
That's why at times when people criticize government, I used to tell people that we all join hands in spoiling this economy.
True.
Because if you smuggled any kind of product out of this country, or you smuggle into this country, and you are criticizing government is not doing well, you are part of the problems. So for us in the petroleum industry, I think the Department of Petroleum Resources has taken a step now, they call it DREAM, is to monitor products from the depot, either government depot or private depot, to the filling station. So then you give account of what you sell on daily basis to the Department of Petroleum. So I think that will help. But be that as it may, we are human beings, and the Nigerians, for that matter, will always play smart on government policy. And you know, some part of this country, I don't know what government will do about it, because the laws are there, but the operator of the laws, they compromise. Because there are particular places in this country that they don't have any other business than this smuggling of petroleum products and some other. So, but you ask yourself, in these areas you have the customs. Even now they have a group of security men. You have the custom. You even have the EFCC there.
Yes, it's a joint
task force.
Yes, task force.
So if you have all those there, then why is the product still going out of the country? I think the federal government, the national security advisor, and so on, so they should take a very bold step. Whoever that is going to such area, I mean, should sign an undertaking for this country. Because if there is no compromise, even when you say joint task force, and the place still look porous, so what do? It's amazing me at times when custom will be there. Some brother will come out of the country and they will go to market like cars and they will be arresting people, whereas this product passes through their domain. So we just have to be sincere to our country if we want this country, if we want the future of this country, our future of our children. Just stop all this illicit businesses, because there is no how anybody can convince me that we are consuming 103 million
it's not
liters.
Possible.
It is too outrageous.
Honestly, it is.
It is too outrageous.
See, those figures, when I get them at times, I wonder.
No, it's not realistic. I think some people has to be checked, because we will see them loading, a company loading 100 trucks, 200 trucks in a day. You wonder where they are taking to. And people should not be treated with levity, because there are some people, they call themselves big marketers. So even when they do something against the law, they feel they are above the law. So everybody should be treated equally. Because when DPR said they are introduced, I said it's okay. For we that we take to our filling station, we don't have anything to care about.
Yes, because that's I wanted to tell you,
because
that
the laws,
marketers keying into that platform, because keying into that platform is very important by the DPR.
We've been giving up to December 31st.
Good.
To key into, and we have sensitized our members that it is not, the program is not to send them out of business, but at least to control. And if you know you are doing a sincere business, there's nothing to be afraid of. So we are in line with the DPR, and we have agreed that we are keen into this, and we have talked about it this morning. But when they pass this, when we key into this, they should treat everybody equally, because some people from this part of the country, they do what they like, and nothing comes out of it. Even when their trucks have been arrested and the rest, you don't get any result at the end of the day. So that is very, very key. Everybody should be treated equally, be you major marketer, be you independent marketer, be you whoever you are. Everybody should be treated equally.
Now, I always take that importance every time I have you in the house. Ipman is very, very key in the distribution of petroleum products.
Yes.
Because you people own filling stations, buy most of these products. You are the major players in this market. Now, how has it been? Movement, we know infrastructure challenges. We know you people face a lot of harassment sometimes on the roads. Tell us the process. How has it been, despite all of the COVID-19 challenges and following your day-to-day running of business?
Yes, I want to I want to use this medium to plead with federal government, the NNPC, the Department of Petroleum Resources, and all other agencies, even the central bank. The indigenous petroleum marketer, that is we independent marketers, we need to be encouraged. Because there's no how you can compare us with multinational, because the difference is there. But we play a very, very vital role, like you know, that where others cannot put a filling station, independent marketer will go there and do it. So otherwise, it would have been difficult for people to come from a remote area to come and buy products in the city. So having said this, one, during the COVID-19, which is still on, I can tell you that there was no palliative for independent marketers from any quarters. There was no any palliative from us. So that I will appeal to government to do something about it. It's not too late, because we don't have money. We borrow money from bank, and you see the bottleneck, the rigors of getting money from bank. So if it is good for others, it is good for independent marketer. Number two, the agencies that we deal with, especially the Department of Petroleum Resources, is very key to our business. Whether you operate with NNPC or not, you must obtain the DPR license to operate. Because it is not compulsory, you must load from NNPC. You can buy your product from our, but before you can put your filling station on ground, the first point of call is Department of Petroleum, and it has a process, a lot of procedure. Recently, this is just an appeal to Department of Petroleum Resources, because a lot of things has changed, still changing. When they are making policies, I think it is important because the policies have been made for us, and it's important they carry us along, because there are a lot of policies that they have made now that is very, very inimical to the people. It's very painful for us to achieve. So, for example, in those days when we want to renew our license, the license renewal is just about 35,000. It has moved from 35,000 to 339,000 because I think government has asked them to go and make money for them to pay their salary and rest so that they can be self-sustainable. But because they want to do that, they must not kill the independent marketer. For example, if you if you want to get a new license now, you are going to spend about 800,000, which is outrageous for us. Before, this thing doesn't cost up to 100,000 naira. So the increment is so high, the policy is so tense for us. So we want to plead with the Department of Petroleum Resources to temper justice with mercy. For me, I've made several attempts to speak with the director as it has been failed. I want to use this moment to appeal to the director to give us an audience so that we can put all the cards on the table. We are law-abiding citizens. We want to do good business, but we also want the Department to look into our own plight too. Because one thing is to put a policy, one thing is to be achievable. If you put a policy that cannot be achievable, then people will find a way around it, and we don't want to do such a thing. So we are making personal appeal to the director of DPR to engage us, to let us have a one-on-one discussion, and we can assure that we'll be law-abiding, but the charges must be reasonable. And to other agencies too, we appeal to everybody, because the situation of the country is very tense. We don't want to do anything illegal. They should be, engage us in a proper manner so that it can be a win-win situation. We love this country. We want this country, but we must not kill our business because we want to achieve certain policies.
Oh, indeed. Now, let's wrap up this. We've talked about arbitrary charges, government agencies, and all of that. So, moving on, the price of crude still remains around 70, and the industry will look like. What are you thinking as we move towards the end of the year? Any more challenges, or what more do you think government can do to ease your kind of business? Because movement of petroleum products remains very key. Thank God NNPC is still the sole importer at the moment, right?
Oh, yes, they are.
No, I don't think private marketers have started bringing in products.
No, not at all. You see, when we are going towards December, the consumption is always very high. And I pray that there won't be any lockdown. If there's lockdown, definitely the consumption will come low again. But and it is going to affect the overall economy of the country. So we want to appeal to NNPC management that the supply should remain constant. And the Labour, the National Assembly, everybody should work around the clock to come into a clear-cut arrangement before the end, so that as we are entering New Year, we know that we are coming in with a new policy and something that is going to be beneficial to all. Like I said, we are saying that we agree that let the system be deregulated. But deregulation, what comes out of it must be used for other infrastructures. Because, for example, now, Mosimi, that is a Shagam Ikorodu road. It's our way, it's where we lift our products. That road is a sorry case. It's a sorry case. So, I appeal to NNPC in collaboration with Ministry of Works. They should please do something about that road, because we don't want to go on strike again, and we are suffering on that road. We have lost lives, we have lost property, we have lost money on that road, and we pay our taxes because we cannot even operate without paying taxes. Yeah. So we appeal. All we are just saying is that because of the situation of the country now, we are making an appeal. We don't want to go on strike. We don't want to add to the problem of the country. That's why in the industry today, hardly you see that and there is a strike. It's not as if we don't have reason to strike, but we are passionate about this country. We are concerned about this country, and we know that whatever we do is going to have implication on the economy of the country. So that's why we are taking it very easy, that we are making this appeal. Otherwise, we know what to do when government refuses to to come into our aids. But we won't do that. And I appeal that they should not take that for granted, because we have not gone on strike. Because in most cases, you see that people say that is the language government understand. Yeah. But over time, we have oriented our people that whatever action we take is going to have a negative effect. And you and I, we have families, we have brothers, we have everything. So that's why we have not taken. So government should please, the issue of the road, the issue of DPR charges, we are not saying we are not paying, but let them come down and let them always carry us along so that we can sit together, we can tell them our members' plan, because it is not enough. It is good to make policy, but when you sit down at the comfort of your office, making policy that are not realistic, so that's why you see people violate the policies, and which we don't want to do. So it is better for you to charge 50,000 and get 100% collection than to charge 100,000 naira and not getting even 50% of the 100,000 naira you are charging. So this is what we are saying. If we are being carried along, we'll be sincere with them. But then this is realizable, this is not realizable. So once again, we are appealing to the Department of Petroleum Resources, especially the director, to please engage us. Let us have a one-on-one discussion. Let us look at the prices. I believe they can still do something about it.
All right, it's a good way to leave it. I've been speaking to the zonal chairman, Southwest of IPMAN, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Dele Lamidi Tajuddin, speaking about issues surrounding the oil and gas industry, particularly movement of petroleum products at this time, where the country is looking at total deregulation of the downstream. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. It's a pleasure having you on Business Nigeria.
Thank you too.